Hey everyone, I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Sconcy Business, and today we're going to be diving into all the craziness with the SEC, Coinbase, lending platforms for cryptocurrency, all of that good stuff. We're going to be diving into all that today, and I'm really just going to be explaining to you guys why it's not as big of a deal as you think, in my opinion anyways, and you shouldn't really be using centralized lending platforms anyways, or just centralized services that offer various things like passive income, like lending, because you're giving your crypto away to them. The ownership, the control, you're giving that up. And there's ways to earn passive income from cryptocurrency without having to give that up. I've covered it in the past. I will reiterate today. But before we dive into all that good stuff, a quick word from my sponsor. A big thank you and shout out to my sponsor Cake Wallet, which is an open source, non-custodial Bitcoin and Monero wallet that also has a built-in exchange. It's available on iOS and Android. All right, thanks again to my sponsor. So let's first take a look at this tweet storm from the CEO of Coinbase. They recently announced that they're going to come out with a lending platform on their or rather a lending service on their platform, and that the SEC is coming after them, and they've had to since delay that launch, and they're trying to figure this out and go from there. Essentially, they're upset that a lot of other lending platforms haven't seen, this big of a pushback and either regulate the space and give clarity or, don't at all, because you can't just randomly decide who to go after and who not. It's very illegitimate, I would say. But more importantly, it isn't just Coinbase. There are other platforms that are starting to see these issues. Blockfi has shared several regulatory changes on their website, talking about how New Jersey, Texas, Alabama, Vermont, Kentucky, a lot of these places are going to start prohibiting Blockfi, or already are prohibiting Blockfi from, using their services there. So this isn't just Coinbase. It's starting to happen to more of the centralized lending platforms, CeFi, because a lot of people think that lending is a decentralized thing, like a DeFi, because there's so many buzzwords that it's so easy for them to just throw things around. And a lot of people think if you're earning passive income, that's DeFi in some sense. No, it's only if it's actually decentralized, where you own the cryptocurrency, you've got the keys, you have the control, whether it's through a smart contract or you're doing it from your own wallet. Some great places where you can actually earn more interest than you would on Coinbase, which was only offering like 4% or something. While BlockFi offers you a lot more on, say, stable coins, they're not offering a crazy amount on what you would actually want to be putting in there, like Ethereum, Bitcoin, etc. 4.5%, 5%, that's good. But you could stake Tron and get around 7%. I can just put my Hive back dollars in my savings account on Hive and get 10%. I can delegate out my Hive power and earn up to around 13% on my Hive. And the beauty is that it's decentralized. I still have all of the control. You don't have to KYC like you do with these centralized lending platforms. And when I tried to withdraw from BlockFi, as you can see, I did test this out. I tested out all the platforms, to be fair, and I earned almost $15 in total. But then when I wanted to withdraw, on all the platforms that I withdrew from, I lost the majority of my profits through the withdrawal fees. So you could put your money in for months and months and months, and then you finally want to take out some profit, and you realize that you basically lost all of your profit just by withdrawing, just from the simple act of withdrawing your money, which is hilarious and ridiculous. So all that time is just then wasted, whereas you can get a better return without all these restrictions, without KYC, without all these issues, doing many, many other things. I mean, you can provide liquidity on Uniswap, on various exchanges, decentralized exchanges. You can provide liquidity. That's a great way to earn in a decentralized way with smart contracts. You could still lend in a decentralized way through things like Aave or TrueFi. There's many solutions out there. So it's very important that you don't get caught up with, you know, because I see all the famous like crypto YouTubers and all them, they always give BlockFi referral links. And it always makes me cringe because it's such a bad platform. When I tried to just withdraw my funds, they made me re-KYC. So I had to resend in and do all this stuff. And it took like 2 days just to get my money out. If you had money in and you wanted to take your money out during a crazy Bitcoin run and you had to re-KYC and then wait 2 days, you might have missed a lot of those gains. And if you have a lot of Bitcoin, it could be literally hundreds of thousands of dollars that you miss out because of some simple centralization where they're essentially just making it harder for you. So what I would say is use other platforms that are not centralized. So here's an example. This is Peak D. This isn't like Hive necessarily. This is just an interface to Hive. So this is my Hive account. If I navigate over to my wallet here, you can see 10% APR by just keeping your Hive back dollars in your savings account. So that's earning me 10% and you can claim it every month. And yeah, it's very easy. You only have to hold it in there for 3 days. There's a 3-day withdrawal period. With Hive Power, you do have a much longer timeout period. So I will admit there's a bit of a trade-off there. But if you want that little bit more of an APY, and then you're better off staking and then delegating out. So, you know, to each their own. It depends just whichever you'd prefer, but both of these are completely decentralized. Only you control this. You can't even have your account deleted. It's as good as it's going to get. And there's many, many, many other ways to do this. This is just one quick example to show you guys what I'm talking about. By the way, they also illustrate right at the top here. I was fully aware that none of these crypto platforms are insured, but you know, they're not insured either. So you don't even have any like extra benefits or protections by using them. In fact, you just have much more obstacles and issues in your way. And they're not even giving you like an amazing return that makes it worth it. I mean, you also have to KYC. So if you're making any money off of this, they're still going to be taxing all that too. Not that I necessarily think you should be trying to, you know, evade tax or anything, but you're definitely not doing yourselves any favors in terms of the ethos of crypto of being like private and anonymous and all that good stuff. So all in all, this video is really just to say that while this is bad, and I definitely think the SEC is wrong on this one, technically, they've only got exemptions for things like lending for banks. So I think, I mean, I'm not, you know, a lawyer or anything, so obviously I'm not 100% on this, but my understanding is that technically this is within their right, and only banks have this exemption. So we'll see what happens, but my take on this is that while this isn't good for the crypto space, in a way, it's kind of helping the newer people who are like, well, I can't be bothered. I'm just going to use BlockFi. It kind of pushes them away from that and brings and steers them to better alternatives and solutions. Because again, like lending your crypto is the worst possible way that you can get passive income. Like honestly, it has all the drawbacks, none of the benefits. And the only way that you might be able to like find a way that it is good is just because it's a little bit easier to get started. And that's it. But no one should be like, oh, just based on convenience, I'm going to sacrifice a massive amount of potential future wealth in passive income. That doesn't make any sense. You should do that little bit of extra work to actually get more money. And actually have true ownership and control of your funds is so important. So again, all of this just to say that I'm not making a huge deal about what's going on. I'm not that concerned about this. I'm much more concerned about the outcome of like the case with Library / Odyssey / Lab from Mars. That is much more concerning to me than something like this, because lending through centralized services has never been a good thing. And the more people that get into it, honestly, I think that's worse and worse, because more people are not understanding how important it is to actually own your crypto, and they're not seeing that, so they're not finding alternatives, and that's really sad to see. Just like the people who are using stock exchanges and then they're buying crypto directly from them, not ETFs or trusts, but directly buying crypto from them with no tax benefits or anything like that, no insurance, nothing like that. Wealthsimple, Robinhood, PayPal, anything like that is the worst possible way that you can acquire cryptocurrency with all of the drawbacks and none of the benefits. You're better off going direct or through an ETF or through your bank in some way like that. That's my take, but none of this is financial advice. Obviously, consult the people who you need to consult and do your own research and all that good stuff. If anything, this is financial entertainment, but I did think this was really important for me to come and touch on because, yeah, I can't say this enough, how many times I have to drill on the point that you shouldn't ever be using CeFi, Centralized Financial Services, because they're still giving you the same drawbacks and all the problems that you get with traditional banks and PayPal and all these things. You're getting all of those negative aspects and none of the benefits. So if you're trying to lend, if that's what you've got your heart set on, you're not going to stake, you're not going to liquidity provide, you're not going to do anything else, you just want to lend, you're much better off delegating or lending in that way on like Hive or doing it through TrueFi or Aave or something like that. There's many solutions out there. You just have to do a little bit of digging. However, I think staking is just much easier than all of this. And there's very little requirements or, restrictions. And it's probably the easiest way for you to earn money. You just need to make sure you're staking with a cryptocurrency that is stakeable. So I understand why someone with Bitcoin is like, well, what can I do now? Personally, I keep all of my Ethereum and all of my Bitcoin locked up in an offline wallet because 4% interest is literally nothing compared to the risk and the taxes and the KYC and the control and all these issues that you bring into your mix that didn't have to be there. It's not worth 4% in my opinion. And some people might disagree, but if you lose all of your money, is that worth gaining an extra few $100s and then you don't even get the $100 anyways because it's gone, or because the SEC did something, or because Blockfi closed your account, or they decided you had to re-KYC and you missed hundreds of thousands of dollars of gains on trades because you were locked in? There's a lot of different ways that this could negatively impact you. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Let me know what you guys think. Are you lending? Are you staking, liquidity providing? How are you earning passive crypto income? You can even invest in tokenized assets like tokenized real estate from Realty, and you can earn rent just by holding their tokens in your wallet. So there's a million different ways to earn passive income that is actually decentralized and doesn't have all these issues, right? So I will stop going on and on about this. I just think it's so important for people to really internalize this and understand the difference between CeFi and DeFi, and patronizing exchanges and services that are decentralized, that do not ask for KYC, is very important for us to show people with our money, voting with our dollars, as to what we want to see more of in the future. So definitely do support decentralized services, or at least services that aren't KYCing, and that can kind of show other platforms what people are really thinking and what we actually value in the crypto space. Because the crypto ethos has always been, decentralization, anonymity, financial privacy, all these important notions, like anti-censorship and freedom, simply freedom. So let me know, what are you guys doing in the comments below? And what are you bullish on right now? What cryptos are you invested in? Are you just holding it? Are you staking it? What are you guys doing? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching to the very end. And since you did, it'd be awesome if you could comment #1ham in the comments below. And that way I know you watched to the very end. Anyways, I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business, signing off. Cheers.